So the question is, what makes a Chicago thin crust, and then what makes a Chicago deep dish?
Grapefruit pie, right? So buttery crust filled to the top. A Chicago thin crust is a cracker dough. It's not a cracker dough, then it's not a Chicago thin crust.
We wanted to name all of our items something from Chicago. Something that people from Chicago would,
understand.
Understand. So
Capone, dead meat. Because he
That's a great
killed
name.
a lot of people.
He did.
All over. And I feel like that is a true meat lovers.
when we moved here, the first thing we looked for was pizza. And we asked our realtor, we're like, hey, where's a good place that we could grab pizza?
Okay.
So she recommended Papa John's.
Oh,
And we were
gosh.
like, no. We couldn't find any Chicago pizza. It did not exist. And when we kind of started throwing around the idea of, hey, maybe we should open a Chicago pizza place. And people were excited to either try Chicago food because it didn't exist, or there was such an influx of Chicagoans coming to Nashville that they were able to find something from home that they missed. We've thought about having a challenge for just someone that could finish a deep dish in one sitting.
You guys want me to set this up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's set this up. Let's set this up.
We should.
We'll get two of the top competitive eaters in the United States to come in.
Yeah. We will create a wall.
Oh, a Hall of Fame.
A wall of fame for all the challengers.
Great.
Our first competitor will be Stuart of Explorer.
I will get one slice in, and then I will be like, I'm done. Hello, and welcome to the Explore Nash podcast. We are so glad that you are taking the time to listen to this podcast today. This episode is brought to you by GO XPLR. This is our tailored custom loyalty platform that we have built out for businesses to use to acquire great data that's super robust. Today, we are talking to the business owners of 312 Pizza, the best Chicago deep dish pizza in all of Middle Tennessee. Welcoming to the podcast is Adras. Did I say it right?
Adras, it's fine.
I feel like I butchered it.
Good.
And Kim. Names are not my strong suit. English language is not a strong English language is just not my strong suit at all. Before we get into your story opening 312 Pizza, we have to look at these beautiful pies. We have to talk about them. So the question is, what makes a Chicago thin crust? And then what makes a Chicago deep dish? So why we're doing that, if you guys want to just talk.
So I'll go ahead and explain that a little bit. We'll just get a little history in. Of course, everyone knows that pizza came from Italy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Started off in Naples back in the 1900s.
Yes.
Bada bing.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago is actually the place that took pizza and made it an ultimate comfort food. Mm-hmm. Back in the 40s, two gentlemen decided to take pizza what it was and make it American.
Yep.
And what they decided is they wanted to have almost like a fruit pie pizza with high sides, but with all of this savory stuff in it.
Great fruit pie pizza.
Great fruit pie, right? So buttery crust filled to the top. And that's what these gentlemen did. And they started Pizzeria Uno in 1943. And they're the people who came out with the deep dish. Now, getting to the thin crust for Chicago, it's actually not like any other crust that you get. Most crusts you get are either New York style pizza, which is a bread dough, right? Yep. A Chicago thin crust is a cracker dough. If it's not a cracker dough, then it's not a Chicago thin crust. Mm-hmm. And that's what most Chicagoans eat, is a thin crust twice a week. And the deep dish is more special occasion. Anniversaries, large parties, because if you see this pizza, it is one slice will fill you up. It is really filling.
And it should fill you for a full day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll have leftovers and then lunch and dinner for the next day.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that when they think Chicago pizza, they think deep dish.
Yeah.
And
they forget about the flat.
Yeah. You have this hardly ever. Like, this is what you have several times a week. When you're from there, because it's shareable, it's thin, you get that cracker crust.
It's lighter too.
It's lighter.
It's lighter. It's not overwhelming, especially if you're like wanting a quick lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming or overfilling.
And it's party cut.
It's party cut, which means a tavern style. We've got our heart-shaped pizza here right now. This is our Capone. It's our meat lovers. And when I say meat lovers, we make Italian beef from scratch. It's mom's recipe, Kim's mom. Whenever I say mom, it's Kim's mom, but I call her mom because once you get married, it's your mother also, right? So it's her recipe, which we take a whole beef, put her spice rub on it, sear it all the way around, throw it in our pizza oven, cook it to a medium rare medium, and we use the drippings from that beef to make the juice, and that's what's called Chicago. It's not au jus, it's not anything else. It's called the juice. We make the juice with that. Take that beef, cook it up, That's for our Italian beef. But moving back to pizza, we take Italian beef, we take our bacon, we take our hand-pulled sausage, right? It's a true Italian sausage with fennel, all the spices. And then we take our Sustainable Farm pepperoni, put that on there, and we've got our Capone here. Right?
Well, this is the hands down the best this studio's ever smelled.
Yes. Thank you.
You guys are the third interview in this studio, so but it smells amazing. I wish you guys can participate, and you can by visiting 312. Sure. So what was the inspiration of Capone? He has a very interesting story with Nashville and Chicago, and Nashville was his main running city. And if you ever heard of Thunder Rolled, yeah.
If you ask me,
he has the worst answer for this question.
My wife thinks it's the worst, but the way I look at it is Capone, dead meat.
Yeah. That's a great name. Dead meat.
Dead meat, because
that's a great name.
A lot of people.
He did.
All over, and I feel like that is a true meat lovers.
Yeah.
But why the Capone, honey?
Well, we wanted to name all of our items something from Chicago, something that people from Chicago would
understand.
Understand. So Capone, and maybe that's why we chose that. Maybe somewhere in the back of my mind that just made sense.
Yeah.
And then that one is the Buckingham Fountain, which of course is from Chicago.
This is the breakfast one, right?
No.
This one is a garlic olive oil base with basil and tomato. It's one of my favorites.
That looks amazing.
Only thin crust that doesn't have the marinara, the red pizza sauce. As a base. So this one's the Buckingham Fountain, but all of them are named after something that has to do with Chicago.
Yeah, and
out of the three, which one is your personal favorites?
Okay. So Kim's personal favorite would be the Buckingham, right, honey?
Kim.
Yes.
Mine would be the deep dish, because I'm a competitive eater in my own brain. If I see something I want, and something about the deep dish. Did
you ever go to Joey's and have the Gladiator?
Did not have the Gladiator.
Okay.
However, Miss Joey's.
Gladiator?
Joey's, or the Gladiator was crust, 3 layers of cheese, 3 layers of thick meat, crust, 3 layers of cheese, 3 layers of thick meat, sauce,
it's like
crust.
Cake in pizza form.
Yeah. But a slice would be this big, this wide.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was
You'd
$10.
Have Gladiator to eat it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had a roommate who ate 3 slices in one sitting.
Wow.
It was insane.
Wow.
I'm like, he was not smoking anything.
We've thought about having a challenge for just someone that could finish a deep dish in one sitting.
Well, it had to be more than just a deep dish. They'd have to eat a deep dish.
Plus a dessert.
Really?
Beef, and then our dough.
When you look at it, people are like, I could eat that.
Did you guys see our video that we came out with in the spring with Katana Eats? She's a competitive food eater here in Nashville. Her and her husband or boyfriend, Randy, they're the top YouTubers in the country for competitive eating. Huh. You guys want me to set this up?
Yeah.
Let's set this up. Let's set this up.
We
definitely.
That would be amazing. I feel like when people look at that, they're like, I could eat it. But once they get one in, and then the second one, they're like, okay.
Well, there would be a time limit, of course.
Let's put the parameters around now. Yeah. So we'll send her this episode.
Yes.
And we'll get that set up. We'll get 2 of the top competitive eaters in the United States to come in.
Yeah. So definitely would do the deep dish.
1 hour? Or is that too long?
I think that's too long. Okay. We already have regulars that come in and eat the whole deep dish
by itself.
Okay. The whole thing?
The whole thing.
But one person. One person has eaten an entire deep dish?
Different guys, but yes.
Is he a big hoss like myself?
I don't look at size.
Yeah.
Right? So one guy is about my size who does this. And
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean.
And when I see this guy, one of these guys come in, I go straight to them and say, "Great to see you," because I love it when I see it. When I first started,
what parameters of time are they finishing?
I'm thinking half hour.
Oh,
so we did the same. We did a sandwich that was this big. Okay. It was 27,000 calories.
Okay,
and she ate it in 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh! See,
no. Make it easy for our new competitive eater friend, because they're going to be our friends.
Yeah,
building friendships.
I think that's hard.
I think 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. Okay.
I was thinking 45.
Okay. And then what's the other item that you need to add?
Okay, so they definitely have to eat a deep dish. And then I think they'd have to eat an Italian beef.
I was going to say
the combo, though. It had to be a combo. So a combo is where we had Italian sausage and fries. Yes, it's got to be the full
In 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Okay, I think that would be a challenge.
And then we could throw the
itself.
dough nuggets to finish it.
Oh, I don't know.
That's
a lot. I mean, this is already a lot.
For you, it's a lot. For me, it's not so much.
I don't know.
You know, because the
just on Sunday afternoon, you're
well, I don't know about Sunday, maybe more like a Wednesday afternoon. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
I think one person, a deep dish Italian beef fries. It comes with that Italian sausage on it.
Are you requiring a drink too?
Well, they can have a drink.
Okay, usually okay,
just not water.
Not water?
No, because water's. Honey, I've watched competitive eating a lot. Water is a competitive eater's best friend.
Are you?
It's their
like
best
just watching
friend.
the Nathan's eating hot dog contest all the time. You're like on replay
every year. Yeah, every year.
There was a lot of controversy behind this year.
Water.
Yeah,
and they are. It loosens the goosens. You know what I mean? We don't want to make it easy. We want to make it kind of tough.
It's a shot of Malort.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, or the Chicago handshake.
I don't know what that is.
That is a shot of Malort and a pint of Chicago's finest old style beer.
Okay.
Leans towards a PBR who bought them out. So.
Yeah.
So by the time we have this, it's going to be 6 items.
He's going to come back to you with more added to
they only have to finish the food.
All right. The drinks are just an add-on.
The drinks are for them to enjoy after
their celebration.
Keep this in mind. If this goes viral, people may ask for this. So you have to think of a price point. You have to think of a reward. So be thinking through those things.
And the reward should be the Chicago handshake.
Yep. And their picture.
What's more Chicago than that?
We will create a wall.
For Hall of Fame.
A wall of fame for all the challengers who complete the challenge.
All right, we just built out an entire competitive challenge.
We'll have our first competitor will be Stuart of Explorer.
I will get one slice in, and then I will be like, I'm done. I eat too much. I eat too much for a living.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm intermediate fasting. Okay, so let's get into what 312 Pizza is. We'll set up the eating competition. We'll make this a YouTube video. Do all those things.
Sounds great.
Guys, do we want to take the pizzas off, or do we want to keep them on the table? I'm fine with keeping them on the table. We'll just close them.
Yeah,
because it is tempting me with a good time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into 312. Where did the concept for the restaurant come from?
Okay, so Kim, this is how it all started, so people can see actually how it started. Kim got invited to sing at the CMAs in 2012.
Well, I moved here in 2011.
Yeah.
And when we moved here, the first thing we looked for was pizza, because we were unpacking, and we asked our realtor, we're like, hey, where's a good place that we could grab pizza?
2011. I wasn't here yet. I was here in 2013, but 2011 you would have Joey's, Manny's, Luigi's downtown.
Yep.
Yes. We were in Antioch
maybe
at the time.
5 points?
5 points was here.
Maybe 5 points?
Didn't know about them yet.
Okay.
So she recommended Papa John's. And we were like, no. So through our own research, we actually found Angelo's Picnic Pizza, which used to be in Antioch.
Yep.
I think they're still there. So that would be our go-to pizza when we were living there. But we couldn't find any Chicago pizza. It did not exist. And that was our first real bummer. We were like, man, we just moved to Nashville from Chicago. We miss it. Like I said, you have the thin crust at least 2 times a week.
Yeah.
And no Chicago food, no Italian beef, no Chicago-style hot dogs. Could not find it. So that's how it started. And then growing up, like my family has always said, we'd love to have a business together. My parents specifically wanted a bar, like a Cheers type bar, like something where, my dad could.
And 312 feels like that.
Yeah. And you get to know your regulars, and, everyone knows your name. So when we kind of started throwing around the idea of, hey, maybe we should open a Chicago pizza place. And that was, tossed around in 2011. 2 years later, still found no Chicago pizza, and we were seriously considering it, to the point where my parents decided to put all of their retirement money into opening 312.
401k, life savings.
Wow.
Yeah,
everything.
They're like, if we're going to do this, let's do it. And that's how it started. I mean, it literally, like looking back now, from we opened in 2014, did the build out in 2013. And so it's been over 10 years.
Over
10 years.
But take a step back. When Kim's parents decided to do this, they, used to have their own favorite place that they would go in and have their little date nights, kind of
course,
like our spot.
Yeah.
Well, Kim's dad was a master union plumber in Chicago for over 40 years. So Kim's dad built out 312. He plumbed it out. You know, his sweat and tears, his spirit is in it.
And everything.
And
everything's in
everything.
Yeah.
You know, and
he did not take a day off the entire build out. I mean, and that was through Thanksgiving, through Christmas. Like he stayed. There was a difference from the day that we started to the day that he finished.
My brother-in-law is a contractor, and all he does is restaurant build outs from scratch.
Yeah.
And he's building a Chipotle literally 3 miles from here. Yeah. And it's been nonstop. And he's doing Jim and Nick's in Clarksville. And then he's doing a Starbucks in Cleveland. Not Cleveland, Jackson.
Right.
Or Huntington, whatever, one of those towns. And he is working insane hours to do these build outs. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it was their own money. And so he wanted to get open as soon as possible. Like getting that done was a priority. And April in 2014 is when we opened our doors. We had a line around the block of neighbors that were so excited to have something like this nearby them. And from the start, it was successful. We had, and people were excited to either try Chicago food because it didn't exist, or there was such an influx of Chicagoans coming to Nashville that they were able to find something from home that they missed.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Nashville has the second largest population of Chicagoans outside of Chicago.
I believe it.
Phoenix is number 1, Nashville's number 2.
I believe it.
And, you know, all the places
Could
that
even be more now.
Yeah, definitely. All the places, you know, we mentioned earlier that were here in 2011, 12, 13, those are New York style pizzas. You know, that's not a true Chicago cracker crust thin, which Chicagoans are used to. When you hear of 5 Points, which we love their pizza, we've eaten their pizza, but it's still a New York style pizza.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bread dough. People, when they eat our cracker crust thin, they're like, oh, this is lighter. This is, got a crunch to it.
Our number one, I think, priority with opening a restaurant was we wanted to cook for our customers. We wanted everything to be from scratch. We wanted it to taste the best it could possibly taste. And that was with everything. I mean, we took it very far to the point where we make our own ketchup and we make our own dressing.
Yeah. The thing that I loved about my experience with you guys, and I've had your pizza a lot. My roommate used to work for you guys way back in the day.
Oh, wow.
John Offit.
Oh, yeah.
He used to work for you guys. He was my roommate for 5 years. And so he would bring your pizza home all the time. And so it's how fresh the ingredients are, but then also your passion on the locally sourced items.
Yeah.
Like that is a really strong foothold that you guys have. And I think it really brings your pizza to life.
And that's another,
and your other dishes too.
Right.
Well, the hot dog and
we're discussing pizza today. And that's a big thing, is that wanting to make everything from scratch, but also the recipes. Most of the recipes are generational. Kim's grandmother, was living in Little Italy, Chicago, and she was Irish, around a bunch of Italian ladies. They'd ask her what she's making for dinner for her kids, and she would throw out something, Chef Boyardee or whatever. And the little Italian ladies, no, we're going to teach you how to cook.
Yes.
And they taught her how to cook.
Marinara sauce, our
pizza sauce. So these recipes, Grandmom just turned 86 4 months ago. So she's been making these recipes for over 60 years. Kim's mom's been doing it for over 40. I know it's more than 40, but, I'm not going to say that on air how long it's been. Yeah. But, and they have perfected these things in their own homes, and then wanted to share that love and that taste of Chicago with Nashville. And said, Nashville, we open our arms and our doors to you, and it's been a great success.
Yeah, and I think the second biggest thing for us was using real ingredients, to the point of making sure that we had clean labels, like nothing that had anything extra that didn't have to be in there. Yeah. And real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup, no artificial dyes or colorings, no artificial preservatives or dough conditioners. Like, we just wanted it to be, I want to go out to eat and have someone cook for me like it was at someone's home. Yeah. All too often you go out to eat and you're just, sometimes you wonder, well, what did I really eat? Because
it's a lot of these operators just trying to save on the cost and not truly deliver authentic food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, a restaurant is a business.
Yes.
Right. But you always should have integrity in your business, even if it is a restaurant. We don't have any round tables because we don't cut corners.
Yep.
Right, we believe in integrity.
It's like, it's a great tagline. Yeah.
Write that one down.
We're going to do that as a collaboration on the account.
Right? Look at this round table.
Yeah. This was a custom-made table for us too.
So we really believe in quality over quantity.
And it makes a difference in how the food tastes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can taste the freshness. We make our own mozzarella sticks. We can cut them and bread them. And like when you pull that apart and you see it and it just looks different than, you know, when you buy it.
A box.
Yeah.
You go anywhere and get a mozzarella stick that's not fresh made. It just comes out, you know, it just.
And then you're missing the flavors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's been frozen. Mm-hmm. It's been bagged.
Raw mated. It's been added all these different things.
The additives that we don't need to be consuming.
At all.
Yeah.
And then why are mozzarella sticks lasting 6 years in my freezer?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case, but like,
yeah.
Ours the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We make them fresh, every few days.
Let's talk about some, if you guys don't mind, let's talk about some success and failures as operators.
All right.
What in the 10 years since you guys have been open, what's been your largest success?
Being open for 10 years.
Yeah. That is a feat. That is with a pandemic, with a tornado, with everything else that happened.
Everything that's going on, being a different city food fair in a southern city. Mm-hmm. You know, where it's, the South is all about that butter and sugar and, full of flavor. Chicago is kind of the same way, full of flavor, but it's a totally different deal. It's not.
It's how the Italians think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. You know,
so when I lived in Italy, for almost a year, but it was like 4 or 5 months in different times. Each time I lost 45 pounds. Easy there.
Wow.
And then when I came back to the States, I gained it all back within 30 days.
That's inflammation. That's the food product that you are eating and putting into your body. Yep. Has things that it should not have in it. If you come to our restaurant and eat for 40 days, you will lose weight if you don't eat anywhere else because we are.
That's a good challenge.
I know.
I think we make that a challenge.
I will do it. I will do it because if you think about it, we're not.
I'll eat your food every single day.
There you go.
Feed you every single day. We do not use any. I don't want to say garbage product, but it really is garbage for your body.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like there's been studies already. You know.
Well, like why are certain dyes available in the United States for dough that are banned in 120 countries?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Or chemicals that are used are one chemical away from making plastic can still be put in.
Yeah. Why is oil in my bread?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, why is Subway having a whole marketing campaign to say we don't use that chemical anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, you want to feel good about what you're putting in your body, even if it's pizza. I mean, even if you want to splurge and have pizza, which, yes, it's a lot of bread and cheese, but it's going to be.
But who does not love a pizza?
Right.
I know.
Well,
I mean, seriously though, who does not love a pizza?
It could be cauliflower crust. It could be.
Gluten-free. We have a gluten-free menu because people are having these gluten problems
because of the chemicals that we were eating.
Not only that, because the gluten is genetically modified.
Yes.
If you think about the gluten that was being made, 50 years ago and how wheat and everything was being stored, people weren't having these problems.
No,
they weren't growing little lesions or bumps.
This is a new thing in the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because we are genetically modifying things, and also the way when you're milling your own flour, which we would love to do, but we just don't have the space. But when you mill your own flour, you don't even.
So there's a local mill in Sparta, Tennessee, and they're milling flour. We'll
have to look into that.
And then Smith and Lintz, they're using a flour mill out of North Carolina.
Okay.
Oh wow.
But there is a local one in Sparta.
Yeah, that's really good to know because right now we use King Arthur flour.
King Arthur is a great flour.
It's a great flour.
Fantastic flour.
It is fantastic. They would be considered organic, but the reason why the company doesn't have an organic label, it costs them too much. Yeah. They follow all organic guidelines. Yeah. They don't do anything dirty. Yep. They just can't afford to pay for the stamp, which is sad.
Yeah.
Not on their side, but on all these criterias that someone wants to follow, but you want someone to pay extra money just so. What reason? Right.
Yeah. So let's get back into that success.
Yeah.
10 years. Congratulations. That is a big deal because most businesses in Nashville, look at last year, 2024. We had like 27 closures of restaurants,
Yes.
and they were only open for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some big concepts that came from Texas.
Yeah.
And they spent $21 million on a build out, and it failed in a year.
Yeah. I mean, from 2013 or 14, from when we opened, I mean, I remember Nashville saying, hey, we've got these restaurants opening up, and it was a list of 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And now you can't even keep up with it.
Well, there's 25 restaurants, according to the Tennessean and all these other outlets. There's 25 restaurants opening between now and March.
Yeah.
Which is
in Nashville, which is a lot of inventory. So I want to get into the competitions in that sense in a moment. But like, if an operator is like looking at your store, you guys are becoming the old guard.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
And speaking of success and the way I think that what we've made successful, and any operator, business owner needs to look at it this way. The only way to be successful is to be consistent.
Yes.
If you are consistent and you have someone come in and they order a pizza and it tastes exactly the same 10 years later, that is a great success. A lot of people are trying to change the wheel in their own home, in their own business, thinking that, these people are doing this or these people are doing this. That's not what makes you successful. What makes you successful is consistency. And if you're consistent, which we have been doing for 10 years, it's funny.
In 10 years, how many pies have you guys served?
Thousands.
Are you guys close to $1 million?
I don't know.
Also, we would have to do the math, but it could be close. That would be.
I think start doing a, you know how Spotify does their annual release. Yeah. Start doing a pie release. How many pies did you serve in 1 year?
Yeah, well, we actually have that number.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because H&S Bagels, their first year they served 426,000 bagels.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bagels.
That's a lot of bagels.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of dust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so like if you did like a 312 unwrapped, like we served this many pies this year. I think that would be pretty cool.
That is a great thing to do because we would hit big numbers. I really believe.
I think it would be a great marketing ploy and marketing spend to be like, hey, we've served over 1 million pies.
Yeah.
How many other people can say that in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean
Domino's, that's
let's have
maybe Joey's, maybe Manny's, maybe 5 Points.
Yes, for sure.
We only have
probably Sal's.
Yeah.
I don't know who else has served over 1 million pies in this city.
I know we've
so good to know.
We do over 1,000 pounds of cheese every year. I know that for a fact.
That's all the cheese too.
And that's another thing is we shred our own cheese. We get blocks of cheese and we shred it ourselves because most people are buying now bagged cheese, which more chemicals are in that bagged cheese, even if you're buying really quality cheese.
So I grew up in Waverly, New York, and there's a plant there called Leprino's. They make 45% of the world's mozzarella.
Wow.
So they are the largest supplier for Domino's, Pizza Hut, all of these things. And so my small town will either smell like burnt plastic or cheese, and then occasionally dog food. But that's a great success. Yeah. Congratulations on that success. What has been a failure?
You know, I think for me personally, when you are, especially a small business owner, we're a small family-owned business. You wear so many hats. You don't have people in all of these departments to do all of the things that it really takes to run a business. And so for me, I'm constantly just feeling like, okay, I've got to do marketing, social media, payroll. I got to manage, and all of ordering. There's all of these things.
And then making the pies. Exactly. Because that's labor intensive to make a deep dish.
Yeah, it's not.
And you always feel like you have all these things to do, but you
can't do everything well.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. And sometimes you just feel like you're failing in what, if you're doing good over here, maybe you're failing at your keeping up with your catering or keeping up with your marketing. And that's my biggest challenge, is trying to do everything with just the tiniest group of people. Because it's hard. Like there's so many things that you have to do, and you're only one person. You know, we're three, me, you, and my mom, we're three people. But at the end of the day, breaking that up is really hard to do.
And, you know, when we hire people, we instantly let them know we're a family-owned business, and in business sense, you would be our employee, but we actually bring people into our family. You know, some turn out to be the one who runs away or is a bad apple, whatever you want to call it. But we've had people our kitchen manager has been with us since 6 months after opening.
That's fantastic.
You know, and because
that's another. That's
another. I was thinking about. I know we're talking about failures right now, but I think that's another great success for us is that we treat everyone how we want to be treated.
Yeah.
We are in there.
I know operators in this city. If they would kill to have that type of low turnover.
Yeah. Right. Because that's the whole thing is they're not saying what they're doing or what they're not doing, but what we are doing is we are treating people like our family. We are trying to, you know, some people who have worked for us before, they want to do different things. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we've networked with plenty of people and we say, okay, you don't want to be in this business anymore. We know someone who is doing X, Y, and Z. We'll get you, you know, talk with them and they go and do that. Now they're successful musicians or they're, you know, whatever it is. And I think that's another one of our successes, but it also has created another one of our failures is I think like we might have partnered with the wrong people sometimes.
We've done that multiple times.
You know, and partnerships sometimes don't work out. And that's just a learning curve for this industry.
You live and learn.
You live and learn.
From a customer standpoint, what's been your favorite feedback that you've ever received from a customer?
This tastes like home.
From people from Chicago.
That's a great feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear that, you know somebody that grew up in Chicago or is from Chicago and taste it.
It's the memories. Yeah.
Yes.
They like close their eyes and they think they're back, you know,
with their grandfather
or with their grandfather. Yeah. And, you know, I think on Monday, I had an old couple come in and I've seen them many times. They've been coming to us for 10 years, almost 10 years now. And they specifically told their server, you know what I love about this place? And the server's like, oh, what, the food? And they're like, the food is our best, but it's consistent. Since day one we've come here, it has not changed.
That's good.
It tastes exactly.
That is the best.
And that is the hardest thing to do, especially with trying to get product, you know, and product to stay. You know, and then
sourcing.
Sourcing, that's what I'm saying. After COVID, you saw, you know, it went at a steep incline in price. And it was, okay, we understood there was no workers in the fields. There was no transportation. We understood that. But for some reason, that steepness has not stopped.
Yeah, it's still going up.
It's still going up.
I've never heard my wife complain about grocery prices until this week.
Yeah.
And she said, why am I paying $4.79 for a dozen eggs?
Yeah.
And if my wife is noticing this, like, and she doesn't complain a lot, I'm like, this, at some point, this has to stop.
I literally said those same words today.
At some point, we will become Venezuela. Yeah. At some point, we will become a communist-esque country in our pricing. And it will kill 100 million Americans.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is people think it's politics. It's not politics. It's just simple greed.
Yes.
You know, we have to raise our prices, but our prices, I mean, if you think about it, we do all organic when available and affordable.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
because there's certain things we just can't afford to do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. But then after that, we do everything else is non-GMO. Our meats are from sustainable farms that have.
And you guys are going to leaps and bounds to make sure that you're providing the best quality for your customers.
Yes. And I also commend our food purveyor, which is Performance Food Service Group, that when, you know, they can sell anything they want. They can buy cheap product because there are some people that buy cheap product.
Braveheart with Performance is an incredible product. Incredible product.
They go and find these things and we say, hey, listen, we can't use that. It has X, Y, and Z in it. We need it to be clean. We need it. Okay. They go and search all over the United States for what we're looking for. They find it. We buy it. You know, it's to us, it's a system, our business in the restaurant industry. It's where there's a bunch of different parts in play that have to come together to make it tight, to make it come and work. 10 years in a restaurant, to have a restaurant for 10 years in a city like Nashville, to me is like one of the hardest things to do. It is the hardest industry known to man, I think, because you are literally buying the food yesterday, making it today, and waiting for the money tomorrow.
Yep. You guys have no way to forecast.
Not at all.
From a business standpoint.
Not at all.
And so let's talk about the competition of Nashville. Why has it become so competitive? Because everyone, I think right now, my personal opinion is Nashville is a gold mine.
It is.
It is the modern day gold rush in the United States.
It is.
And it's going to be that way. What I see until the East Bank is complete.
Yeah.
And that's going to be 15 years.
Exactly. And I think
we are what New York and Chicago were in the early 1900s.
Right.
That's what we are now.
The growth is compared to those two large major cities, spot on. You know, the no income tax, the breaks for these large businesses to come in so we can grow, I think, is a dual-edged sword for us also.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, because
you may get another Chicago competitor in town,
and you say another competitor, but the way I've always thought about 312 Pizza Company is that they're family recipes, right? You know, if you look at some of the places like Chicago Deep Dish started in Chicago in 1943 by two guys who started Pizzeria Uno, right? The next place that opened was 25 years later. It was Gino's East.
Yeah, Gino's. I was going to say Gino's. Yeah.
But Gino's East, the reason how they did their growth was a young African-American woman was working at Pizzeria Uno.
So she was able to get the recipes.
And then she went to Gino's and opened Gino's, right? Yep. Which grew theirs, but she has cream of tartare to make her dough stretchy, whatnot. And then next thing you know, you had Lou Malnati's open, which we lean more towards on our deep dish, and then Giordano's, which is more of a stuffed crust because the mother of Giordano's was known in Italy for Easter pie, which was a stuffed.
And I love Easter pies.
Yeah,
love Easter pies.
But 312 Pizza Company, being family recipes, we don't compare to anyone else.
Yeah.
We're similar maybe to Lou Malnati's or, like Mom's thin crust or whatnot. So competition, we look as if other restaurants are not competition, but they're our friends. They're trying to do what we're trying to do and make something successful and have their recipes for other people to enjoy, So we welcome more food. However, think it through before you open it. Don't be here for a year. Think, all right, it's going to take hard work, that you're going to hear no. You're going to have people come in and complain or say, I know what it should be, and then eat it and say, well, this isn't what I was thinking. Well, that's the problem. You put an expectation or an assumption to what you're going to eat, and that's just something made up in your head. But if you go into a place and say, all right, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to let you feed me, and then enjoy it that way, we win 100% of the time.
What piece of advice would you have for operators that have an established brand and certain financial situations happened and people, and now a big hospitality group, bought you and still your concept is going downhill?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
or a concept is going downhill.
So I see two words instantly in that whole statement or that question there: integrity and consistency. Back to consistency, right? But integrity is the big one, because if you are willing to sell out your own product for a dime or a dollar, then you shouldn't be in the business at all. Simple as that. Because once you let go of your product for that dollar, you're totally flipping the whole business over, and it's now just a business. It's not I believe 312 Pizza is a destination restaurant.
Oh, it is, hands down.
People want to come here.
Yeah, people. I know of at least 20 people that drive an hour.
Yeah.
Every couple months to come to your restaurant.
Yeah, and because of the consistency and the integrity in our food, and if I was to give advice to any of these folks, I would say stick to your gut and what you know is right, not what you want is right, because wants and hopes are just like assumptions and expectations. They're made up in your head, right? Be consistent with who you are and what you're doing, and treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
Don't treat someone who's, an influencer or a billionaire coming into the restaurant differently than this, person who can only come once every 3 months, and once you can do that and people see that you are genuine, then they'll genuinely accept whatever you're doing. And that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, honey?
No, I agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you have to love what you do. Genuinely, whatever it is, whether it's, opening a restaurant or whatever, if you love what you do, then it's not going to be work. Instead of thinking like, let's open a restaurant and it's going to be great. It's going to be different than you think it's going to be. I mean, in the 10 years, the challenges and things that we have gone through, the things that we have faced, and to still be here, I mean, you couldn't have possibly imagined.
Oh, yeah.
And sitting here and thinking like, wow, we made it through that. We made it through that. And always looking over your shoulder like, gosh, because you're like, places are closing left and right.
Oh, yeah.
You're just always wondering like,
are you next?
Yeah. I mean, it is scary because you're out here, you're doing it on your own. You're not relying on anybody but yourself and your product and what you have, and always trying to be in front of people and do the best you can to let people know, hey, we're here, we exist. It's not easy. It's so rewarding.
Yeah. I think the big reward is when you see people eat the food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For their first time or their 100th time. You see them eating their food, and I don't know about you, but when I eat something I enjoy, I get a kid's smiley face, like, in my head's thinking, something exciting or something in the past that happened, and enjoyment. And that, I think, is what we go to work for every day.
That's great.
We go to see smiling faces. We, things, we can't control every human that works in the building. But what we can't control is the humans that come in. We can set them up for success and what's going on. So, our deep dish pizza, it takes time. It is a process. The picture. It's a pie.
It is a process.
It's a pie. Okay. Yeah. A lot of people are like, why does it take 45 minutes to an hour?
Because look at how thick that is.
Look how thick that is, right? Sometimes it takes 2 hours because we only have a certain amount of ovens, and we have
certain amount of space in each oven.
In each oven, and you have to-goes, you have people inside the building, and guess what? We're doing the best we can.
So somebody called me the other day, and they said, "Hey, I saw your 312 video. I want to not wait 45 minutes in the restaurant, but I don't want to go." So I just said, I don't know if they did this. I said, call them.
We call ahead.
Pay on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you do call it.
We do call it.
Okay, yeah.
Only for deep dish.
That's what I figured. Yeah. I'm like, call ahead, call them, pay on the phone, and then just show up.
Yes.
45 minutes later.
We already do that.
And you can eat it in the restaurant.
In the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's good to know. That's a menu hack for you guys.
Yeah, that is a menu hack. All right. So we do love when people come in, sit, and they order their pizza. It takes 45 minutes, an hour, because we have the best appetizers.
Yeah, hopefully you're upselling. Your staff is upselling, and you're selling apps. You're selling drinks. You're selling
exactly. We do craft
games. You can play games while you're waiting for your pizza and socialize with the people that you're with. But
that's the whole thing is we want it to be like you're at mom's table.
Exactly.
You're not having phones there. The pizza's cooking and everybody's playing, or everybody's getting back to human nature, one-on-one or 4-on-4, whatever it is, just people connecting. And that's what we love about. Another great thing is not only seeing people enjoying the food, but the connections that they're making with be their date right across from them, or their, 3 coworkers that are with them, whatever it is, you can see them. They're not on their phone. They know that they're going to be here for a minute. Yeah. And we're not a place. There are a lot of businesses, restaurants that open up just so they can be on Instagram.
Of course.
Their food is out of a bag or out of a box.
And it's awful.
Yep. And people love going there. Why? Because there's big white walls.
Ooh, it's fancy.
Big, huge, chandelier.
Ooh, a social media wall.
Exactly. Which, we're actually thinking about doing not a social media wall, but a place you can take a picture in our restaurant. We have several places now, but
honestly, you just get a cutout of Al Capone. Yeah, get a cutout of some like big Chicago ball players.
Stand beside them.
Just stand beside them.
Right?
And I think
that's in Nashville that has a great idea for a wall in 312, and I think it's great.
And we're thinking about pulling the trigger on that, which when we get it done, you'll come out and you'll be one of the first people to sit in that seat that says, "I've been here."
That's fun. And
I think another big thing for us in this restaurant is that as owners, we have done everything from dishes to making pizzas, and our coworkers, or as you would say, our employees see that, and they do just as hard, and they are as lively as we are in the front of the house, in the dining room, because we want people to know that you're in our home. We're part of a HOA subdivision. We're not just some building that's standalone in a neighborhood. No, we're part of HOA. We love our neighbors. We do our we help fund the Germantown cleanup whenever we can. And we love Nashville. We love Nashville so much. Like I said, 10 years, almost 11 years coming up. 11 years, Nashville was nothing like this.
Oh, no.
It was
absolutely not.
Third of the size.
Yeah.
It was not even a thought.
There wasn't 40 restaurants opening in a year. There's maybe 3.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then there's other avenues to get out and be seen, and Explore Nashville, I think, is a great way to be seen, because a lot of people who say they're influencer or not are pretentious, and they just want to do it for the buck. And I feel like, Stuart, yourself and Explore Nashville is actually doing it about the people. And
I was watching Cars with my son the other day, and they have this song about this small town, and it's Route 66. Mm-hmm. You've probably seen Cars.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This Route 66 town. I literally was weeping on the couch, because that's what we do. Is we highlight small towns, we highlight small businesses, and I'm like, why am I weeping over Cars? About what we do and highlighting the things that we do.
But it's great because it makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially for small businesses.
Yeah, and I think you're weeping because you're seeing your passion come to fruition.
Yeah.
Right? I mentor people often, and I tell them, if you chase the passion, the money will chase you down. If you chase the money, your passion will die.
Yeah.
And you'll just be following down a hole that you can never get out of.
My in my mind is if the Lord gave you the vision, He's going to pay the bills.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. If you believe, you shall receive. Right.
Yep.
And you got to you got to, once again, that integrity.
Yeah.
You got to have good character. Do we all make choices that we have learned from or regretted? Yes. But I think 312 Pizza has learned that Nashville loves us and we love Nashville.
So 2 more questions and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
What is one type of concept Nashville is missing?
Well, with so many restaurants opening, that's a tough question, because you've got your breakfast places.
Just look at how many Italian places have opened in the last 5 years. It is insane.
And how many have closed?
And how many have closed? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's our film. It's okay. Let's put a marker on that. Yoshi.
Okay.
The tape fell. Yeah, it's okay.
Welcome to Nashville.
Welcome to Nashville. Yeah, where our foam just falls off walls.
Maybe that's a question we're not supposed to answer.
Yeah.
I think a concept like a South African type Australia, more like, I like hearts, but like I like more South African.
Yeah.
I think we're missing some really good island food.
I think island food.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know about you, but I love Ethiopian food.
I love Ethiopian
food. And there's only one or two, that are open here. I think if there was more international styles of food.
Yeah.
But it is Nashville, and a lot of people are,
they're very close-minded in their
I don't want to say
their
close-minded.
I will say it. On some of their things.
I don't want to say close-minded. I think maybe adventurous is a better word, because there's a lot of open-minded people who still just want
good food.
Good food.
Yeah. All right. Second, our last question. What other restaurant would you give a shout out to, or what's your go-to place to eat outside of your own establishment? Your house?
I know, right?
Yeah. Well. And that's great that you say that. I say this because before marrying into the family, I didn't really eat deep dish often, but ever since having our deep dish, nothing really compares. Mm-hmm. So if I was to give a shout out to something we eat, because we're both vegetarians, so we would do something like Gray's or Avo's,
or Wild Cow. But they closed.
Yeah,
but we love Gray's.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Sunflower Bakery?
Oh, love Sunflower Bakery.
Yeah.
Gotta give them the shout out too. Yeah. Both of theirs, the cafe and the bakery.
There's another one that just opened in Columbia. It's called Be Salty, and everything is vegan, gluten free. Besides one of their croissants.
Now, I do want to give a shout out if I am giving shout out, we do sell our pizzas, our wholesale pizzas, to a few places that if you do want to get a thin crust and have an amazing beer or amazing distilled alcohol, I would say definitely go to Corsair.
Yep.
Right? Distillery, amazing place.
Yeah.
You've got New Heights, amazing. You know, New Heights is doing their own beer. Craft beer, of course. That's what Chicago is known for. You know, that's why deep dish is synonymous with Chicago, because what else is synonymous with Chicago? Hot dogs.
Yep.
You know?
And baseball.
You know, athletes.
Yep.
You know? So if any other shout outs, I feel like I'm missing someone right now.
I was going to say Zahn's, but
Yeah.
he closed
Zahn's
too.
was closed.
Yeah.
He was the best. Yeah. Ken Redmond, he put his heart and soul into
He was the first beer we had on tap at 312.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
and we used his beer to make our beer cheese for 10 years.
Okay.
And COVID and I guess where he moved his brewery to, it was real tough on him, and he had to close the end of December. And I think that was a very sad time, because you think about someone who had been open a year before we had been open.
Yeah.
And his beer was consistent and delicious, and just did not have, I don't know what the problem, what happened, but life happened most likely, and COVID changed the concept or the reality of way people go out to eat now.
Yep.
It's easier to just get on your Uber and get someone to bring it instead of going to a place and really.
I think it's going to change. People are going to come back out.
Yeah.
And because we want that connection.
Yes.
We need that connection. And so, guys, well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. I want to once again tell Explore Nashville that you guys have been a benefit.
Thank you.
You guys have been a positive light in our universe, and we have had dark times and very bright times, in COVID, because we got hit with, and the end of, beginning of 2020, we got hit by the tornado, and then COVID, in that same year. And that really almost sucked the life out of us, especially in this business, because, we had people trying to close us down. We had people not believing that, this industry wasn't going to make it, or we weren't going to make it. And we just keep putting our head down and pushing forward. And, we're also thinking about opening a second restaurant. And if anyone wants to be angel investors, or
What kind of concept?
we're thinking about another 312.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have another. Mom has always wanted to do a breakfast thing because she.
Is there a Chicago breakfast dish that's unique that?
There is a place that does baked omelets.
I love baked omelets. I haven't had a baked omelet. I haven't had a baked omelet in 15 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every time I go home, I always want to get one. But something I haven't found in Nashville.
That's
Yeah.
Things that make you say,
Well, what's the best way if an angel investor wants to contact you guys?
You can
go to 312 and go talk to him in person.
Yeah, right?
We will be at 312. That's right. Yeah. We are there 6 days a week. We're closed on Tuesdays just so we can do back office work, maintenance, and to have a day off.
Yeah, of course.
We used to do, during COVID, with our staff, we used to do a thing called 3-1 Tuesdays, and we would take them kayaking, or we would take them to go do things.
Yeah.
Now, if an angel investor does want to reach out, they can just go to our contact at 312pizzaco.com. And if they're serious, we will seriously get back to them.
All right. One last thing. A menu hack that somebody can only order in person.
Ooh.
I was thinking
our sausage patty pizza.
Yeah, the Stockyard.
Okay.
So that's something in Chicago that some certain places do. And it's where it's a whole patty of our Italian sausage that it looks like it fits over this whole thing.
Okay.
And it's just a sausage patty. It's called the Stockyard.
What Well, let's set up a time to record that.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it is amazing. Well, not being the meteor.
That'll be the pizza they have to eat on the challenge.
That's a good.
I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
So our fresh sausage. We do Chicago sausage is not in a ball. It's a handful, right? So no two pieces are alike. If you go somewhere and two pieces are alike,
then it's bagged.
It's exactly right. But when you do the patty, this big, huge sausage burger goes on top of this pizza that is already 2 inches, inch and a half, 2 inches.
My son's favorite meat is sausage.
Well,
and he should
bring him out then.
Okay.
And
he's 15 months.
Holy Batman.
He's going to be the first challenge person.
Yeah.
We had pizza the other night and he ate 2.5 slices and he's 15 months. He's going to be a big boy. Yeah.
No, as long as you're eating quality products, then you don't have a problem, and people always like, oh, I can't eat pizza, it's fattening or whatever. It's actually not really fattening, and it's all about being gluttonous. If you eat pizza every day, twice a day, it's
balance.
It's balance. It's all about balance. So you come and get pizza one day, the next day you come in and get our Wrigleyville romaine salad, that we make the dressing fresh from, and then the next day after that, come get the Italian beef.
I think that 40-day challenge to see if somebody will lose weight. I think that'd be fun too.
You come and get our all beef hot dogs, and we do a Chicago or Wrigleyville dog, or even the Comiskey if you're on the south side. We do a Comiskey dog also, and we have a vegan dog, we have a vegan menu, we have a gluten-free menu. So I think there's a lot of hidden gems. And when you ask about a hidden thing, I've always wanted to do an animal style
Now's the time before they open their stuff.
Yeah. Animal style pizza before. Yeah, exactly.
She is the CEO. This episode may air after she does her speech, but she's doing a speech at Lipscomb on why they're moving their headquarters here, February 4th. Huh. Yeah.
Maybe you could connect us.
That'd be interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for
Stuart, thank you
coming on the show.
Let's enjoy some pizza, bub. You know what I mean? All right.